Hello, my name is Bianca Alanis, and this is my STEMSOS 2023 project. So, as you can see, I'm starting off on my homepage, and by the title, you can probably guess I'm doing computational drug analysis. And basically, what I'm going to be doing here on my website and explaining to you is basically the effects of computational drug analysis and the overall effects of yogurt on the protein cytokine. Cytokine is one of the main proteins involved in the disease for my project called bacterial vaginosis. What I'm going to be examining is whether or not yogurt will help stop the accumulation of, pro-inflammatory proteins and bacteria coming from the vaginal epithelial cells. So that's a summary of my homepage, and next I will be going on, as you can see, to my background. So for my background, as you can see, it has a little cute background with a little world around it and stuff, and I worked really hard on that. But yeah, so to start off, you'll see my big picture. So for this big picture, basically I'm just giving you guys a brief summary of what my main goal is. And my overall main goal for this is to basically detect whether or not I can find something to really cure bacterial vaginosis. And my goal was to find a home remedy that could potentially work really well for this particular disease and see how I can possibly stop, like I said, the overaccumulation of bacteria in the vagina. So that was like my big picture, and that's what you'll see on here mainly. Next, you'll see principles and concepts. And basically for this, I'm basically just giving you guys another summary, if that makes sense, and how I'm going into like the chemical and the receptors, if that makes sense, and how they will react, and how I plan on taking a more clinical approach to find a cure for bacterial vaginosis. And then as we move on, you'll see I have my keywords and units, and basically for this, it's more of just like a description of like some keywords, some vocabulary that I will be using often inside of my PBL website. So, I have like cytokine on there because that's my main protein. I have vaginal discharge that is an effect and a symptom of bacterial vaginosis. I got epithelial cells. I have some medicine, metronidazole. I got a quaternary structure, which is a part of the way, the atoms are built. And then you'll go on and see the figures. So basically for figures, I just provided some images that could show possible treatments and symptoms that come along with getting bacterial vaginosis, and it'll just give like a brief summary of how you can avoid it and just like know that you have it if you don't plan on going to a medical personnel, but you really should. My next tab is what is STEMSOS. So on my first little tab thing on my website, you'll see what is STEM education. Basically, on this part of my website, I am just describing the overall definition of what a STEM project is, or a PBL. So in the first one, I'm just giving an overall definition. STEM education stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And basically, it shows a variety of the 4 fields associated with STEM while giving emphasis on the innovation, problem solving, and critical thinking. So, yeah. And then on the next one, I start to kind of go in on why STEM education is important. And, there's a variety of reasons for it, and you'll be able to read that. I did publish my website, and I'll provide a link in the bio for you guys if you would like to check it out. So the next one is how can STEM education shape the future? This is more of a my opinion thing. So I did write it myself and just give some reasons of why I think STEM is extremely beneficial to society nowadays. It really allows young people and even adults to drive new innovations across disciplines, essentially making use of the computational power to accelerate new creative ways to solve problems of all kinds. You know, like STEM is very beneficial. You know, I think it's helped me. I think it's helped a lot of my peers. I think it's a great program. And then you'll see I have bacterial vaginosis reference videos. These are basically some YouTube videos. The first link is a STEMSOS explanation. It's just giving you a brief definition of what STEMSOS is if you don't already know, and how it really works with my PBL. Next, you'll have bacterial vaginosis for the next link, basically just giving you a brief description of the disease if you don't know of already. And I did provide a little picture saying STEM, just so you can like kind of get like a brief analysis of what STEM really is. And then I provided some sources because I was using these sources on my personal PBL. So, you know, source links are very important to establish credibility. So I did leave my sources there if you would like to check it out. Then on my next one, I have my PBL project. And as you can see, my introduction. So for this introduction, I'm really just giving a description of my entire project, if that makes sense. So I'll read a little bit of it right now. So I did put that I would be investigating bacterial vaginosis and attempting to find a cure for this disease by looking at the protein cytokine and the way that is affected throughout the process of the disease. So I am paying close attention to this protein specifically and looking for ways to reverse its effects on the effects of a pro-inflammatory protein, otherwise known as the IL-36Y chemical, in producing an overgrowth of bacteria in the vaginal epithelial cells. See, epithelial cells. But yeah, I'm kind of describing it and explaining the way that I plan on going into this PBL project and really finding that cure. I did provide my household item. My household item was yogurt. Yogurt is organic and unsweetened. You know, you have to get the organic Greek yogurt to be exact, because the yogurt does carry a chemical called lactobacillus or whatever, and it helps stop the vaginal epithelial cells from overproducing that bacteria and leading to odor and other bad stuff that you wouldn't want in your private areas. So I did provide materials. You know, it's not much. I really just kind of like put my faith into my desktop and the computational drug analysis website, and this isn't on here, but I did use Autodoc as well to get a more developed, I guess, picture of what that protein looks like and how it will look like when I go through it. Next, I do have my procedures. So this is really long, and it's basically just a list of steps of how I plan on going through my PBL project and like the different steps I was taking to really check and find a cure for this protein. So as you can see, there's very many of them. I made it very detailed, you know, just so I know what I have to do, and if other people want to see and they want to do something similar, then they can take notes if wanted. Then I do have my safety. It's nothing much. It's just like the main thing, like about credible sources. As I said before, you know, sources are very important. If you don't have credibility, the entire project will just be thrown out the window because none of it will be true. So that's a very important step in STEM in general. Credibility is very serious. So we do need to take that like seriously. But next, you'll see my pictures and images. Basically, these were the steps I took on Autodoc. So you'll see in step 8, I did say that the protein was placed into Autodoc. So this is how it looks. It's very pretty, to be honest. It is a quantitary atom. And in step 9, you'll see that I did add the HET8TM. And it was a protein that was added in order to isolate the protein. As you can see by the little yellow dots all around the protein, that is how it looks like when it is added. And then I did remove it in order to get the protein in its pure form. And then in step 10, you'll see that I did delete the water to see its pure structural form without water as well. I removed hydrogen atoms from my protein to really see how it looks pure. And then in the next step, as you'll see, I did add Coleman charges, which really changed it up. As you can see, like right here you can kind of see the like green and not green, sorry, I'm not colorblind, I promise, but the red, the blue, the white, you know, the hydrogen atoms, like the water molecules, like you can really see it. So in the next one, you'll see I did assign the AD4 atom to really like see like development in the atom and like the different colors, the overall structure, and like just really put my work together, if that makes sense. Okay, next I did save it in the PDBQT format, and you can see it did change a different color. It is gray, and again you can see those different colors in the atom. You know, you got the red, the white, and the blue. That's very important. That was the last step I unfortunately left out on, but that's the last thing that I have for a picture of my atom. Next one you'll see is my ELA component. Basically, on this component, I did create a bacterial vaginosis newspaper article. I created it by myself, and I think it looks really good because I put in a lot of hard work into this newspaper. So as you can see, I did a little cute stuff for editing. Like I put bacterial vaginosis limited edition because it was written by me. And, you know, I did provide like kind of like normal stuff that you would see on a newspaper. So, you know, I thought, BV on the rise, what is this vaginal disease? I feel like that was giving very much newspaper. And, you know, I even went as far to create a health spotlight. You know, a lot of newspapers have those little like story lines where they have like a person kind of like reflecting on stuff that has happened to them regarding whatever they're writing about. So I thought that would be a very interesting touch, you know. By the way, that is not a real person. I kind of just wrote it myself. But yeah. And then I went on to the next part. What am I doing wrong? Risk factors. That leads on to my page 2 of my news article. And as you can see, I did provide a lot of pictures. You know, I put a diagram, some symptoms that will happen if you do have bacterial vaginosis, just to provide more context, because newspapers do provide pictures sometimes, not very many, but they do provide. But yeah. And then you'll see in my page 2, yeah girl, page 2, that I provided my risk factors in a little section paragraph. And you see I did provide a diagram right next to it, kind of like providing different risk factors as well. So, you know, some of them, having multiple sex partners is a big risk factor. Douching, using feminine hygiene products with scents is a very like big risk factor for women and men maybe. But then you have washing underwear with a strong detergent. So any type of smells or really just strong odors are really big on your private areas. Like it can be very sensitive there, so stuff like that is not recommended, you know. And then you got smoking. So I did think that was a nice little touch, adding the diagram next to it so people can see. And then, you know, I went in with my symptoms. I basically did the same thing. I summarized the symptoms into a paragraph, and I did provide another little diagram of some sorts, giving a bunch of different effects of the disease, just so people can know, you know, like sometimes people don't really know what they have until they see these symptoms. But yeah, that is page 2 of my ELA component, and I hope you guys enjoyed. This is my PBL project, my STEMSOS 2023. I really enjoyed working on it, and I hope all of you listening liked it as well. I did work really hard on it, and I'm really proud with the outcome. You know, I really liked creating all of this. Like, it's very interesting to really look at. You might not enjoy it in the beginning when you're actually working on it, but like, I don't know, just like learning new stuff, especially about like the feminine anatomy of the sorts, I feel like it's very educational. And I just really like it. It's fun. But yes, this is my STEM SOS 2023 project. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.